Bullet Club.
Hey guys, Ivan's Quantic here, back again with more WWE 2K18 content, and as I'm sure you know, the full official WWE 2K18 roster has been confirmed. It's all out there, and just as you expect, a lot of people are getting kind of mad because there are some notable exclusions in the roster. But man, like, okay, I understand that people have been left out, but look at all the people that have been included. Their roster is amazing this year. We got the likes of Cassius Ono, Roderick Strong, half of 205 Live, TM61, Authors of Pain, Sanity. Like, there are so many people who we didn't think would be in the game that ended up in the game. So I really think you need to give 2K lots of credit, because the roster is honestly probably, I think, the best roster of any WWE video game ever. And plus, when you factor in that the people who have been left out of the roster are definitely going to be DLC, so it's just definitely going to be the greatest roster. So yeah, okay, I understand you can complain when some notable people are left out, but still, you're going to take credit for how good the roster just is. But with that said, let's take a look at who's not included, because we're all pessimists here, right? But on the main roster, there are literally only 7 people on the main roster right now who are not in WWE 2K18. That's pretty fucking good. That's a damn good roster. So who are these 7 people? Of course, first up, the Hardy Boys are not included in the game, and this is pretty much the one that I have the biggest gripe with, because it's obvious 2K are just not including them to make them DLC, to sell them more as DLC. So that kind of pisses me off, when they definitely could have made the game. They would have made the game no problem easy, but they deliberately chose not to include them in the game just to sell more DLC. That's kind of the main thing that pisses me off. So the Hardys aren't included. Elias isn't in the game either, and that's all the Raw people who aren't in the game. There's literally 2 members of the Raw roster who are not in 2K18, well, 3 including both Hardys. So that's pretty good. But yeah, I'm surprised Elias isn't in the game either. I think he could be DLC, because he's been in NXT for a long time, and now he's come to Raw. So then there are a few other SmackDown people who aren't in the game. First of all, James Ellsworth. This is a kind of interesting one. A lot of people thought he'd be in the game. I never thought for a second James Ellsworth would be in the game, honestly. I never thought about it. Now that I do think about it, I'm like, yeah, I guess he could have made the game. But James Ellsworth isn't in the game. Lana isn't in the game either. She could be a manager. She probably is a manager, but she's not a superstar. Next, we have the Singh brothers, who aren't in the game. This, I kind of get it. They came pretty recently, so I kind of get why they're not in the game. And then finally, 2 more members of the SmackDown roster who aren't in the game, who obviously shouldn't be. Mike and Maria Kanellis. Oh man, I love Mike Bennett so much, but he debuted late July, so yeah, he's not going to make the game. Neither will Maria. And then finally, Shelton Benjamin. He returned literally last week, so he's not making the game. So that's pretty cool that only 7 members of the main roster aren't in 2K18. You got the Hardys, Elias, James Ellsworth, Lana, the Singh brothers, Mike and Maria Kanellis, and Shelton Benjamin. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. Look, literally the WWE roster right now is so fucking big, and only 7 people didn't make it, and most of those people couldn't have made it, so it's actually pretty good. Next up, we have 205 Live. So these are the 205 Live superstars who didn't make the game. We have Arya Daivari, Drew Gulak, Lindsay Dorado, Mustafa Ali, and Tony Nese. So those are 5 members of the Cruiserweights not in the game. And guess what? You know how many superstars are usually in a DLC pack? Around 5. Is that a coincidence? Probably. I'm guessing there's going to be a 205 Live pack, including those 5 205 Live superstars. So then we get the whole Cruiserweight division in 2K18. That's pretty fucking cool. Next up, we have NXT superstars not included. Now, the 2 big ones, of course, Aleister Black and Andrade Cien Almas. Now, I was sure both of these people in the game. That's who I'm kind of pissed off aren't in the game either. Aleister Black, Andrade, and the Hardys, I'm kind of pissed off aren't in the game. Especially Andrade, because he's been in NXT for a long time, over a year. I think even nearing a year and a half, maybe. Oh no, I think he's nearing a year in the game. Because I remember last year, people were thinking he could have made 2K17 DLC. Like, I'm pretty sure he could have made 2K17 DLC, and he doesn't even make 2K18. That's really weird, but he definitely is going to be the 2K18 DLC shortly. Aleister Black as well, he debuted at TakeOver Dallas a day before WrestleMania, so he had plenty of time to be in the game. I'm really shocked he didn't make it either, so but he will definitely be in the game. Then Drew McIntyre, he couldn't have made the game this year because he came too late. I'm pretty sure so Samoa Joe in 2K16 just made DLC when he debuted in like late July. Drew McIntyre debuted like returned the same time as Samoa Joe 2 years ago. So Drew McIntyre can definitely make DLC. I kind of think he might not make DLC, honestly. I got my hopes pretty low for Drew making DLC, but he definitely can. He's been in the roster long enough to make the DLC. And then that's pretty much it out of the NXT people who aren't in the game. You've got some others like Liv Morgan, Mandy Rose, Ruby Riott, even the Valentine Dream, Patrick Clark. Surprisingly, William Regal's not in the game. That's really interesting. I guess he counts as NXT, right? So yeah, those are some other few NXT people that aren't in the game. But really, all the main NXT people are there, and that's pretty fucking cool. So then another group of people not included are the UK superstars. Of course, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, Wolfgang, Mark Andrews aren't in the game. I definitely thought Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne were going to be in the game. I thought just them two for sure would make the game. And I'm surprised that they didn't make the game. But surely there's going to be a UK DLC pack. There has to be, doesn't there? I mean, I think if there was a UK pack, it'd definitely include British Strong Style, so Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, and Trent Seven, and then one more person, maybe Wolfgang, and then maybe, yeah, I don't think the fifth person I would say is Mark Andrews, but I don't think that. I think it'd be the four, them plus Wolfgang. So my DLC prediction packs is, first up, the first pack would be the UK Superstars pack, which includes, of course, Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, Trent Seven, and maybe Wolfgang. The next, the NXT pack, including Aleister Black, Andrade Cien Almas, Drew McIntyre, and then maybe the Velveteen Dream, or maybe Ruby Riott. Then the next pack would be the 205 Live Cruiserweight pack, including the 5 members of the 205 Live who are not in the game. And then finally, the main roster pack, including, of course, the Hardys. Then throw in Elias, and then the other people can change, maybe James Ellsworth or the Singh brothers, I would think. So that's my prediction for the DLC packs. That's 4 packs. That's like one more than we usually get. So maybe I'm thinking we might not get the 205 Live pack, but surely we'd get the main roster pack, the NXT pack, and the UK Superstars pack. The Hardys are 100% in the game as DLC, so don't even doubt that. But the rest can kind of change up a bit. So it's kind of crazy, especially 2K every year has the Hall of Fame pack as well, where whoever got inducted in the Hall of Fame, they get put in the game and they have a showcase. But I don't think they should do it this year, because every person that got inducted in the Hall of Fame this year is already in the game besides Beth Phoenix. And I don't want to waste a whole pack on getting just one new superstar, do you know what I mean? I'd rather have that, give that to the Cruiserweights or give that to the UK stars. So that's just my opinion, and those are the people left out in the game. So there's really not that many people left out. When you think about the big people left out, it's just the Hardys, Andrade Cien Almas, Aleister Black, and like Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne. That's only like 6 people, even though they are pretty big. But then you look at the 170 people, and you look at who they did include that people didn't think they would. Roderick Strong's in the game. I didn't think he'd be in it. Cassius Ohno, I definitely didn't think he would make the cut. Authors of Pain, Sanity, I didn't think would make the cut either. Even like Rhino. It's a great roster, and if they go the right route with making the right DLC, it will 100% be the greatest roster in any WWE game ever. And that's just my opinion. However, there's still one more thing to cover. Let's talk about who was in 2K17, who's not in 2K18. Most people that aren't in it are because they left the company. However, there are some legends who aren't in the game for some reason. So let's go over 6 legends who were in 2K17 who aren't in 2K18. First of all, we have Albert, Arn Anderson, Billy Gunn, Brian Pillman, Road Dogg, and Vince McMahon. So Billy Gunn not in the game, I get, because he's in New Japan now, he's not even in WWE. But Albert, Arn Anderson, Brian Pillman, Road Dogg, and Vince McMahon, I don't understand why they're not in the game. Why is Vince McMahon not in the game? That's crazy. He's in it every year. That's really shocking. That's gonna be crazy for Universe Mode, because you know, what if you want him as your general manager, you want him to walk out? I don't know why they didn't include Vince McMahon. That's crazy. Arn Anderson as well. Why'd they just take him out? I don't understand that either. That's really weird. So a bunch of people that just aren't in the game those are the people who aren't in the game for like no reason, or no reason we know of. Then let's go to the superstars who aren't in the game, which we know the reason. So of course, Alberto Del Rio's not in the game because he left and now he's in TNA. Austin Aries isn't in the game because he left WWE. He left wrestling for a bit just to heal up his injuries. I honestly thought he would make the game. He was released in July. I thought they might just keep him in the game just cause, honestly, because he left like on good terms. He's not wrestling for any other company. He just left WWE to take time off from wrestling because he's been wrestling non-stop for a decade. He just needs to heal up a bit. So I'm actually quite surprised they took him out. Then another quite surprising one, Blake and Murphy aren't in the game either. I mean, Murphy hasn't appeared in WWE TV for the whole year, and Blake has only appeared on WWE TV once this past year. So I guess that's why, but they're still employed by WWE. I don't know why they took him out. That kind of sucks because I really like Blake and Murphy. The next up, we have the Dudley Boys. Of course, they retired. Eva Marie, of course, was released. Jack Swagger, of course, was released. Simon Gotch, of course, was released. And finally, Cody Rhodes, or Stardust, was released. So, those are the people who were in 2K17 who are now not in 2K18. But man, so you just look at this roster, that's a fucking really good roster. The list of people missing aren't that many. It's just the main people, the Hardys, Aleister Black, Andrade Cien Almas, and Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne. So, who will all make DLC. Well, they better. 2K's not dumb enough to not including them in DLC, I hope. Just, man, this is gonna be the best roster in history if they get that DLC right. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Tell me, what do you think the DLC's packs are going to be? Who's going to be included in them? Because I'm really interested to see what you guys think. But for now, this has been Ivan's Quantic. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to keep up to date with all the latest 2K18 news. And I'll see you guys in the next one.